In this short video, I'd like to demonstrate a couple of key differences between two types of tripod heads. These are both arca-swiss type heads, and the one on the left is a geared head, and the one on the right is a simple ball head. They're both equipped with arca type clamps. So early on in my photographic life, I moved up to the ball head arrangement from the 3-axis adjustment type head. Maybe you've seen what I'm talking about. It's the type that has separate adjustments for each axis, and they can be quite cumbersome because they have these handles that stick out. Some people shorten those handles, but the ball head makes for quick and easy adjustments on the fly. So quick loosening and quick tightening, and you're all set. This only becomes a problem when you're doing more precise work, when the situation demands a greater deal of precision. Take, for example, product photography, where you've got a very small product and it needs to be framed and held in place. When making a camera adjustment, you could easily overshoot the position you need by using the ball head. Certain types of ball heads have an adjustment knob, so you can't do it one-handed. Arca-Swiss makes it pretty nice and easy to make adjustments with one hand, like that. So the premium grade head obviously gives you more advantages over something that has knobs, where it definitely requires a two-handed approach, and I've seen some that have 2 knobs to tighten the head down, so maybe those have higher payload capacities. Anyhow, the other night I put the geared head to use because I was doing some nighttime long exposure photography, and there were other photographers out at this location, so I didn't want to fire up a white light to check my settings on the camera or on the tripod head. I had to do everything I could with my red headlamp, which didn't have high intensity at all, but I also didn't want to be obtrusive. So if I were doing this if I were doing the nighttime photography with the ball head and noticed my horizon wasn't quite right, things were off vertical, sure, I could crop it in camera, but if I want to do the most I can to perfect the shot in camera, then I would want to adjust. And so maybe I wasn't quite level, and maybe I wanted to go here, or maybe because of the weight of the camera I overshot. So in the next exposure I might say, oh, I went too far, I got to come back. Or was I 1 degree off, or was I 2 degrees off? So it becomes more of a challenge making those fine adjustments with the ball head in working in a very low light situation. By contrast, the geared head comes in handy because you loosen these teardrop handles, approximate the position you need on the axes, and then once you're in the neighborhood, then you engage the gearing, and you can make those fine adjustments. And when you make those adjustments, there is no moving. So take, for example, the shot, the nighttime long exposure. If my axis wasn't quite right, oh, I just moved it. So where was I? Was I here? Was I there? So you could easily flub multiple shots if you're at the mercy of a ball head that's free floating versus the geared head that allows you to make very precise adjustments. So my horizon was off. I would say, well, let's turn it. Let's give it a turn, a quarter turn this way or that way. And as luck would have it, it was perfect with one adjustment. I made that one twist and my horizon was fixed. And I did this without even having to sight through the viewfinder. I just looked at I previewed I reviewed the last shot, and I was able to judge how much I was off, and I was able to nail the shot in the next exposure. Obviously, if you check the prices, the geared head from arca-swiss is phenomenally more expensive than the ball head. But at the same time, you must consider how valuable that time can be, time that you spend trying to recover your horizon. The time you spend trying to recover your horizon versus dialing it in and having it ready for you. Obviously, the geared head wouldn't work for certain types of photography, like outdoor nature photography, where you're trying to track an animal and you need to have more freedom to float and frame the shot. I don't know if I'd use a ball head for that. Maybe I would. Some guys use a type of gimbal head, but that's not really my thing. I do portraits, maybe some architecture. I've done a lot of product photography, and each time I've been very happy to have a geared head, or maybe I wished I had a geared head and didn't have one. And it's cost a bit more time to make those adjustments. Anyhow, that's the geared head versus ball head story. Thanks for watching. I hope to share more information on the tools that I use and would like to use in the future.